What if the closest bond between twins turned into a dangerous obsession? This unsettling true crime story from Chicago, USA, reveals the hidden relationship between twin brothers that spiraled into jealousy, obsession, and ultimately murder. A bond that once symbolized love and trust soon became the foundation for a dark, twisted tragedy that no one saw coming. Daniel, who was 27 years old, was the more extroverted of the twins. He had an undeniable charm, often making friends easily and always eager to be part of social gatherings. Known in the community for his enthusiasm and helpful nature, Daniel was passionate about music and often performed at local events. His relationship with his twin brother, Lucas, was perceived as deeply supportive, with many viewing them as inseparable. Lucas, also 27 years old, was the quieter, more introspective twin. While he shared a striking resemblance with Daniel, their personalities differed significantly. Lucas was more reserved and often found solace in reading and writing. He had a deep appreciation for literature and spent hours lost in books, which sometimes made him seem distant to others. Despite his introverted nature, Lucas felt an intense connection to his brother and was always supportive of Daniel's endeavors. However, as their secret relationship deepened, Lucas's insecurities began to surface, leading to feelings of jealousy and obsession that ultimately complicated their bond. The family dynamics between Daniel and Lucas were often described as typical for twins, with an unbreakable bond that captivated those around them. Growing up in a loving household, their parents encouraged their close relationship, fostering a sense of unity that extended to their friends as well. Friends often remarked on how the twins seemed to share an intuitive understanding of each other, finishing each other's sentences and instinctively knowing one another's thoughts and feelings. However, beneath this seemingly perfect connection lay a hidden complexity. While their family and friends perceived their closeness as a hallmark of sibling love, it masked the deeper, more troubling aspects of their relationship. As they grew older, the intensity of their bond transformed into a secretive obsession, which they kept hidden from everyone, including their parents. This duality created a facade that only deepened the rift between their outward appearances and the dark reality of their intertwined lives. The twins lived in Chicago, in a modest apartment that reflected their close-knit bond. Known for their identical appearance, Daniel and Lucas were often mistaken for each other, which added to the intrigue of their relationship. Their neighbors viewed them as a charming pair, always seen together, whether at the local coffee shop, attending community events, or sharing laughter during evening walks along the picturesque Lake Michigan shoreline. The vibrant atmosphere of Chicago, filled with music, art, and culture, enhanced the perception of their seemingly perfect lives and created a sense of normalcy that was comforting to both brothers. Despite the lively surroundings, the apartment itself was a sanctuary for the twins, filled with shared memories and personal touches. Photos of their childhood adventures adorned the walls, showcasing their inseparable nature and the depth of their bond. Lucas often filled the space with the sound of soft music, while Daniel's photography adorned the walls, each image telling a story of their experiences together. Their home was a reflection of their unique connection, a safe haven where they could escape the expectations of the outside world. However, as the story began to unfold, this cozy space would reveal itself as a breeding ground for the dark secrets that threatened to unravel their bond. The very environment that fostered their connection would soon become the setting for a tragic tale of jealousy, obsession, and ultimately, murder. As the city outside pulsed with life, the twins found solace within their shared four walls, unaware that the intensity of their relationship would lead them down a path of destruction. What was once a sanctuary would become a prison of secrets, where love morphed into something sinister. The stage was set for a tragedy that would not only shock their family and friends, but would also haunt the community that believed in their perfect connection. Behind closed doors, Daniel and Lucas's bond deepened into a secret romantic relationship that no one could have ever suspected. What began as an inseparable brotherly connection gradually transformed into something more intimate and complicated. They found comfort in each other's company, exploring their feelings under the guise of sibling love. Yet the intensity of their emotions began to blur the lines between affection and obsession. As they navigated this hidden relationship, their lives became increasingly entwined, marked by stolen moments and whispered confessions. The thrill of secrecy fueled their passion, creating a sense of urgency that heightened their emotional connection. However, the weight of their hidden love soon became unbearable. The fear of being discovered began to manifest in their behaviors, leading to paranoia and jealousy. Daniel, who was usually carefree, became more possessive, while Lucas, struggling with his insecurities, grew increasingly anxious about their relationship being exposed. The pressure of maintaining their secret started to strain their bond, transforming the once joyful connection into a source of tension. Small arguments erupted over trivial matters, driven by underlying fears and unspoken frustrations. Their home, which was once a sanctuary, began to feel like a prison, and the walls that had witnessed their love now echoed with the weight of their obsession. As their emotional turmoil escalated, it became clear that their relationship was spiraling out of control, setting the stage for a tragic culmination that would forever alter their lives. As Daniel and Lucas's relationship deepened, the dynamics between them began to shift dramatically. What was once a strong bond rooted in trust and companionship started to crack under the weight of jealousy and possessiveness. Daniel, increasingly fearful of losing Lucas to anyone outside their secret world, became more controlling. He began monitoring Lucas's interactions with friends, insisting on knowing who he was spending time with and where he was going. Lucas, on the other hand, found himself feeling trapped by Daniel's growing paranoia. He struggled with the conflicting emotions of love and suffocation, torn between his desire to maintain their connection and his need for independence. This tension manifested in heated arguments, often sparked by minor disagreements but fueled by deeper insecurities. Daniel's obsession with keeping their relationship hidden led him to make irrational decisions, causing Lucas to question not only their relationship but also his own identity. The once supportive atmosphere of their shared apartment turned toxic, with walls that had echoed laughter now reverberating with accusations and silences that felt heavy with unspoken words. The love that had brought them so close now began to feel like a dangerous secret that threatened to consume them both. As the pressure mounted, it became clear that their secret relationship was not only unsustainable, but was also pushing them towards an inevitable confrontation that could shatter everything they held dear. As the tension between Daniel and Lucas escalated, friends and family started to notice the troubling signs of change in their behavior. The once inseparable twins, who had always been the life of the party, began to isolate themselves from their social circles. Their friends observed that the brothers were frequently arguing, often in hushed tones that hinted at deeper issues. These arguments, once playful banter, became heated and filled with accusations, leaving those around them concerned and confused. Family members noticed a shift in their demeanor as well. Daniel, who had always been the outgoing twin, became increasingly erratic, displaying signs of anxiety and paranoia. He would often check his phone obsessively, worried that their secret would be exposed. Lucas, on the other hand, grew quieter and more withdrawn, struggling with the emotional turmoil that the hidden relationship had inflicted upon him. He found himself caught between his love for Daniel and the overwhelming desire for freedom from the suffocating secrecy. The once vibrant dynamic of their relationship took a dark turn as the secrecy morphed into an all-consuming obsession. Friends who had previously admired their closeness began to sense an unsettling shift, as the bond that once felt so pure now felt twisted and fraught with tension. Comments from loved ones, questioning their behavior or expressing concern, were often met with defensiveness or anger, further isolating the twins from the very people who cared for them. As the walls closed in around them, the brothers' connection, which had started as a source of comfort, became a breeding ground for fear and obsession, pushing them toward a dangerous edge that no one could foresee. In March 2023, a shocking discovery unfolded in the otherwise unassuming apartment shared by Daniel and Lucas. The calm of the morning was shattered when police responded to a frantic call reporting a distressing scene. Upon arrival, officers found Daniel lifeless on the living room floor, his body surrounded by signs of a struggle. At first glance, it appeared to be a tragic accident. The apartment was in disarray, with overturned furniture and scattered belongings suggesting a violent confrontation. However, as investigators began to piece together the events leading to this harrowing moment, evidence quickly pointed to foul play. Forensic analysis revealed bruising on Daniel's body consistent with a violent struggle, and blood splatters indicated that the situation was far more sinister than it initially seemed. Neighbors, who had always perceived the twins as a close-knit pair, reported hearing raised voices coming from the apartment the night before, adding to the growing suspicion surrounding the circumstances of Daniel's death. As detectives dug deeper, they discovered the tension that had been simmering between the brothers. Lucas, now the primary suspect, was nowhere to be found, leaving behind a chilling mystery. The once thriving bond between the twins, filled with love and affection, had devolved into a tragic tale of obsession, jealousy, and ultimately, murder. The shocking revelation of what transpired within those walls would haunt their family, friends, and the entire community as they grappled with the horrifying reality of what had occurred behind closed doors. The crime scene was a haunting tableau of chaos and despair. As the investigators stepped into the dimly lit apartment, an unsettling silence enveloped them, punctuated only by the soft rustle of uniforms and the distant echo of sirens fading outside. The living room was a stark contrast to the warm, inviting space it once was. Furniture lay askew, cushions scattered, a coffee table overturned, and a lamp shattered on the floor, its glass shards reflecting the harsh light of the police flashlights. In the center of the room, Daniel's lifeless body sprawled unnaturally on the floor, surrounded by a pool of dark crimson that starkly contrasted the pale color of the carpet. The sight was jarring, a cruel reminder of the violence that had erupted in what was once a sanctuary for the brothers. Investigators noted the marks on his arms and neck, bruises that hinted at a desperate struggle, and the unmistakable signs of rage that marred the otherwise tranquil space. The air felt heavy, thick with an eerie stillness that seemed to absorb the shock of the situation. It was as if the apartment itself was holding its breath, bearing witness to the tragedy that had unfolded within its walls. Investigators exchanged grim looks, their expressions revealing the weight of the reality they were beginning to piece together. Questions raced through their minds as they scanned the room for clues. A broken picture frame that had held a cherished memory, the overturned chair that seemed to tell a story of its own. As they examined the scene, the haunting realization settled in. This was not just a tragic accident, but a violent culmination of obsession and fear. The brothers' shared life, once filled with laughter and companionship, had spiraled into something dark and deadly. Each detail, from the disarray of the room to the unsettling silence that filled the air, painted a picture of a bond that had turned into a nightmare. The investigators understood that they were not merely solving a crime. They were unraveling a deeply unsettling tale of love twisted into obsession, with devastating consequences that would forever alter the lives of those left behind. The investigation into Daniel's death quickly attracted the attention of seasoned detectives from the Chicago Police Department. Leading the case was Detective Sarah Mitchell, a 10-year veteran known for her sharp instincts and unwavering determination. With a reputation for solving complex cases, Sarah approached this investigation with a keen eye, recognizing the peculiar circumstances surrounding the crime scene. Her partner, Detective Mark Ramirez, brought a wealth of experience as well, having worked on numerous high-profile cases throughout his career. Together, they formed a formidable team, ready to unravel the truth behind the tragedy that had shaken their community. As they delved into the details of the case, the detectives wasted no time in interviewing neighbors and friends, piecing together the last days of Daniel's life. The accounts they gathered painted a picture of two brothers who had become increasingly isolated, hinting at a growing tension that had escalated to dangerous levels. Friends described hearing heated arguments coming from the apartment, and some mentioned seeing Lucas's anxious demeanor in the days leading up to the incident. Detective Mitchell knew that understanding the relationship between Daniel and Lucas was crucial to solving the case. She meticulously combed through their social media accounts, uncovering cryptic posts that hinted at their emotional turmoil. Mark, meanwhile, focused on gathering forensic evidence from the crime scene, ensuring that every detail was meticulously documented. Together, they analyzed the physical evidence, looking for any signs that could lead them to the truth. As the investigation unfolded, the detectives found themselves confronted with a tangled web of emotions, secrets, and a bond that had devolved into obsession. Each piece of evidence brought them closer to unraveling the complexities of the brothers' relationship, revealing a tragic tale that transcended mere jealousy and betrayal. With each new lead, they felt the weight of their responsibility grow heavier, knowing that the answers they sought would impact not only the lives of those involved, but also the community that had once viewed the twins as inseparable and perfect. The forensic evidence collected from the scene painted a disturbing picture of the events that had transpired in the apartment. Upon closer examination, detectives noted several significant signs indicating a violent altercation between Daniel and Lucas. Bruising on Daniel's body was particularly revealing. The marks were clustered around his neck and arms, suggesting a struggle that involved grappling and restraint. These injuries spoke volumes about the intensity of the conflict and raised immediate suspicions about the nature of their relationship. Blood spatter analysis further corroborated the theory of a violent encounter. Investigators discovered splatters on the walls and ceiling, indicating that a significant amount of force had been applied during the altercation. The patterns of the blood droplets suggested that Daniel had been struck repeatedly, leading to a violent clash rather than a singular incident. The trajectory of the spatter indicated that the struggle likely started in the living room before spilling into other areas of the apartment, with furniture being knocked over in the chaos. In addition to the visible signs of violence, the detectives were particularly interested in any fingerprints left behind. A thorough examination revealed several partial prints on the coffee table and a nearby lamp, potentially belonging to Lucas. This discovery added a chilling layer to the investigation, as it indicated that he had been present during the confrontation. Forensic experts began to cross-reference these prints with Lucas's known fingerprints to establish a definitive link. The combination of bruising, blood spatter patterns, and fingerprint evidence created a compelling narrative of a deadly struggle, transforming the initial perception of Daniel's death from a tragic accident into a harrowing tale of sibling rivalry gone awry. As the forensic analysis unfolded, it became increasingly clear that the bond between the brothers had devolved into something far darker, setting the stage for a complex investigation into love, obsession, and the ultimate betrayal. As the investigation progressed, the detectives conducted a series of interviews with family members and friends, hoping to piece together the intricate puzzle of Daniel and Lucas's relationship. Each conversation revealed layers of complexity that painted a disturbing picture of the twins' bond, shedding light on the secret that had driven them toward tragedy. Starting with their family, the detectives spoke to their mother, who described her sons as inseparable. She recalled how they had always shared everything, from friends to hobbies, fostering a deep connection that was typical for twins. However, as the detectives probed deeper, she began to express concerns about Lucas's increasingly anxious behavior in the months leading up to Daniel's death. "I could tell something was off," she admitted, her voice trembling. Lucas seemed more on edge, almost paranoid. It was like he was afraid of something, but he never talked about it. Friends of the twins provided further insight into their shifting dynamic. Several friends mentioned that the twins had become more withdrawn in social situations, often opting to spend time alone rather than with their usual group. They noted a change in their interactions. Lucas became possessive of Daniel, frequently interrupting conversations and insisting on accompanying him everywhere. "It was like Lucas needed Daniel to himself," one friend recalled. "I thought it was just a twin thing, but looking back, it felt suffocating." As the detectives interviewed acquaintances, they uncovered whispers of a secret relationship that had developed behind closed doors. Friends mentioned overhearing hushed conversations and seeing the twins exchange furtive glances, but they never suspected the depth of their bond. One close friend recounted an incident where he had caught Lucas looking visibly distressed after a minor disagreement with Daniel, hinting at an emotional volatility that seemed to escalate in intensity over time. With each interview, the detectives began to unravel the fabric of the twins' lives, revealing a tale of love entwined with obsession. It became clear that their secret relationship had fostered an environment of jealousy and fear, transforming their once supportive bond into a breeding ground for turmoil. The deeper they delved into the twins' world, the more they understood that the violence that erupted that fateful night was not just a tragic accident, but the culmination of a complex and destructive relationship that had spiraled out of control. The courtroom was filled with a heavy atmosphere as the trial of Lucas began, drawing an audience captivated by the tragedy that had unfolded. Emotions ran high, and the air was thick with tension as the prosecution sought to unravel the complexities of the relationship between the twin brothers, while the defense aimed to depict Lucas as a troubled soul caught in a web of circumstances beyond his control. During the trial, heart-wrenching testimonies painted a vivid picture of the emotional turmoil that had plagued Lucas leading up to the incident. Family members were among the first to take the stand. Lucas's mother, visibly shaken, spoke of the deep bond she had witnessed between her sons. With tears in her eyes, she described how she had always believed that their closeness was a strength. But I never understood how suffocating it had become for Lucas. I saw the love, but I also saw the fear and the obsession, she confessed, her voice breaking. Friends of the twins followed, sharing their perspectives on the brothers' relationship. One close friend recounted how Lucas had become increasingly possessive of Daniel, illustrating moments where he would grow agitated over seemingly trivial matters. He would snap at us if we tried to include Daniel in anything outside their world. It was like he couldn't stand the thought of Daniel being with anyone but him, the friend testified, capturing the essence of Lucas's jealousy and the mounting pressure he felt. The most gripping moments came from mental health experts who provided insight into Lucas's state of mind. A psychologist specializing in twin dynamics explained how their unique bond could morph into unhealthy attachments. In cases like this, when the boundaries between individual identities blur, it can lead to a profound fear of abandonment. Lucas's behavior reflected a deep-seated anxiety that escalated into an overwhelming need to control, the expert elaborated, helping the jury grasp the psychological complexities at play. As the testimonies unfolded, the courtroom witnessed Lucas's emotional unraveling. His eyes, once filled with a glimmer of life, now reflected a haunting mix of regret and confusion. The prosecution painted a portrait of a man who, despite his love for his brother, succumbed to an all-consuming obsession that ultimately led to devastating consequences. The trial was not merely a legal proceeding. It was an emotional reckoning for everyone involved. Each testimony served as a reminder of the delicate line between love and obsession, showcasing the tragic fate of two brothers whose bond, once perceived as perfect, spiraled into a nightmarish reality. As the jury listened, they were faced with the harsh reality that the darkness lurking behind their connection had culminated in a crime that would forever alter their lives and the lives of those left to grapple with the aftermath. The courtroom drama unfolded with palpable tension as the defense and prosecution presented their contrasting narratives regarding the tragic death of Daniel. The defense, led by a skilled attorney, argued that the incident was a heartbreaking accident rather than a calculated act of violence. They painted a picture of a close twin bond, highlighting moments of joy and laughter from the brothers' childhood. Witnesses spoke of Lucas's gentle nature, emphasizing that he had always looked out for Daniel, insisting that the circumstances surrounding his brother's death were filled with confusion and chaos, not malice. In stark contrast, the prosecution sought to unveil the darker undercurrents of the twins' relationship, arguing that it had spiraled into an obsessive dynamic. They presented evidence, including text messages and social media posts, which illustrated Lucas's escalating jealousy and possessiveness over Daniel. The lead prosecutor passionately contended that these actions were indicative of a dangerous attachment rather than mere brotherly love. Expert testimonies were crucial in highlighting this complexity. A psychologist specializing in twin dynamics explained how an intense bond could lead to emotional volatility and extreme measures, resonating deeply with the jury. A pivotal moment occurred when Lucas took the stand, visibly shaken and emotional as he recounted his final moments with Daniel. Tears streamed down his face as he expressed his love for his brother and his profound regret for what had transpired. This raw emotion blurred the lines between guilt and grief, leaving the jury grappling with their sympathies. The trial ultimately revealed that the twins' bond was not simply one of love, but a complex interplay of affection, jealousy, and obsession, forcing everyone present to confront the tragic reality that sometimes love can intertwine dangerously with darkness. The courtroom erupted with tension as the jury delivered its verdict, guilty of second-degree murder. As the foreperson read the decision, the atmosphere was thick with emotion. Lucas sat frozen, his face a mixture of regret and resignation, realizing that his life would never be the same. The weight of the jury's decision sank in, marking the tragic culmination of a bond that had turned deadly. Family members in the audience reacted with a range of emotions, some weeping for the loss of both brothers, while others expressed disbelief at the outcome. The verdict underscored the profound tragedy of a relationship that had spiraled out of control, leaving a haunting legacy for everyone involved. Lucas was sentenced in 2024, with the court imposing a lengthy prison term that reflected the tragic consequences of taking his twin brother's life. The judge acknowledged the complexity of their bond, but emphasized the irreversible harm caused by Lucas's actions. As the sentence was handed down, the courtroom fell silent, with many family members visibly distraught. The impact on the family was profound. They now faced the heartbreaking reality of losing one son to violence while another was imprisoned for the crime. Grief and anger intertwined within the family, leaving them to grapple with the emotional aftermath of the tragedy, as they navigated a future forever marked by the loss and the stark reminder of a love that had turned deadly. The long-term effects of the crime left the family utterly devastated, grappling with the profound loss of both sons, one to death and the other to the justice system. The parents found themselves in a nightmare they could never wake up from, caught in a whirlwind of grief, guilt, and unanswered questions. Family gatherings that once buzzed with laughter and love became somber reminders of what they had lost. Relationships among family members frayed under the weight of their shared sorrow, as each individual processed their grief differently. The emotional scars ran deep, with lingering feelings of betrayal and confusion about how such a tragic outcome could stem from the bond they had always cherished. The impact extended beyond the immediate family, resonating throughout the community as well. Neighbors and friends were left in shock, struggling to comprehend how a seemingly close-knit relationship could culminate in such violence. Rumors and speculation circulated, leading to a cloud of mistrust that hung over the community. Local gatherings became tinged with sadness, as residents reflected on the tragedy that had shattered the peace of their neighborhood. This crime became a haunting reminder of the complexities of human relationships and the sometimes dark paths they can take, serving as a cautionary tale for others about the potential dangers of obsession and secrecy. Ultimately, the incident became a point of discussion in community forums, prompting conversations about mental health, the importance of open communication, and the need for support systems for families dealing with complex issues. While the scars of the crime would never fully heal, they sparked a movement within the community to foster understanding and compassion, aiming to prevent such tragedies from occurring again. The case left the community in a state of shock, grappling with the horrifying reality that a close bond between twin brothers could spiral into such deadly violence. Residents found themselves questioning how something so seemingly beautiful could turn so dark, leading to endless speculation and whispered conversations. The tragic circumstances surrounding Daniel's death and Lucas's subsequent imprisonment became a focal point for discussions about relationships, mental health, and the dangers of secrecy. Many community members expressed a sense of disbelief, struggling to reconcile their memories of the twins as vibrant, inseparable young men with the tragic events that unfolded. As time passed, the memory of the twins transformed into a tragic symbol of secrecy gone wrong, serving as a poignant reminder of the complexities hidden beneath the surface of familial relationships. The story became part of local lore, discussed in hushed tones at coffee shops and community gatherings, often evoking feelings of sadness and reflection. Schools and community organizations initiated programs aimed at fostering open communication among families, encouraging individuals to share their struggles rather than hide them away. Ultimately, the case served as a catalyst for change within the community, highlighting the importance of mental health awareness and the need for support systems for individuals grappling with intense emotional experiences. While the legacy of the twins was marked by tragedy, it also sparked a movement toward understanding and healing, reminding everyone that even the closest bonds can conceal profound complexities that, if left unaddressed, can lead to devastating outcomes. As we reflect on this heartbreaking tale, it becomes clear that secrecy and obsession can twist even the closest relationships into something perilous and deadly. The story of Daniel and Lucas serves as a chilling reminder that beneath the surface of love and camaraderie, there can lie hidden complexities that, when unchecked, can lead to tragic consequences. It urges us to foster open communication and emotional awareness in our own lives, ensuring that bonds built on trust and love do not fall victim to the shadows of secrecy. Remember, sometimes the most dangerous stories are those that remain untold, lurking just beneath the surface of our everyday lives. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of a true crime that continues to haunt its community, and we encourage you to reflect on the relationships in your life. Never underestimate the importance of honesty and connection. If you found this story compelling, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement helps keep these important conversations alive. If you found this story both haunting and thought-provoking, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more gripping true crime documentaries. We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. How do you think we can prevent such tragic outcomes in our own lives and communities? Perhaps by fostering deeper understanding and support among loved ones, we can create a space where secrets and obsessions don't spiral out of control. Let's continue this important conversation and work together to build stronger, more open relationships. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.